The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
C.D. Lamb, touchdown.
Parsons has sacked it. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Standback, Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, and Kyle Youmans.
34-6, final score from AT&T Stadium in Week 10 of the NFL season. The Dallas Cowboys fall for their fourth straight time at home, their fourth straight time overall, and they fall to 3-6. Welcome into Talkin Cowboys, presented by Black Rifle Coffee Company, live from the Star in Frisco, Texas, in the SWBC studios. We've got Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez. For the first time ever on Talkin Cowboys, Tommy Yarrish, beat writer for the Dallas Cowboys, sitting in for Isaiah Standback. Tommy, welcome to the show.
Appreciate you guys having me.
Talkin Tommy.
T.Y. if you're nasty.
T.Y. No Hilton. That's what you got
good.
for,
Yeah, I
for
like that.
Tommy Yarrish.
T.Y. no Hilton.
T.Y. No Hilton.
Not a Hilton, but like a Holiday Inn Express, right?
A Marriott.
Marriott.
He's like the high-end Marriott. You just haven't understood it yet. Like the fans at home.
Actually, no, we have a sponsor, don't we? Oh, Omni. You're the Omni.
Marriott is the sponsor.
Marriott.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Marriott.
Omni is a partner, but Marriott is the sponsor.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And then we've got Chris Beam in the back. I'm Kyle Youmans. Glad you're with us. I hope you have all of that Black Rifle coffee sitting in front of you, Cowboys Nation, because you're going to need about 300 millibajilli grams of caffeine to break this one down. Because it did not look pretty, especially in the third quarter for the Cowboys. There were times in the first half where I said, okay, there's life, there's a pulse, there's something happening here.
A light, if you will.
Maybe a light.
In the dark.
That was just the sun.
Why are we talking about the sun? What about the moon?
What about the moon?
what
I mean,
about the
they've
moon?
all been up there. Well, the sun's been there 5 billion years.
Yeah.
But yeah,
My favorite Jason Garrett comments is like, the sun's been there for 2 billion years. It'll be for 2 million.
Yeah, but I mean, for those that saw Micah's comments after the game, it was a play on what he said: "Be the light. Defense needs to be the light."
And my moon comment was a play on what Jerry said and the walk-on.
Problem is that
Talking astrology.
it's too dark at this point for any light to kind of matter. So if you were on the line about if you should cash in some vacation time for January, go ahead and do it. Because I said before this game, I sat right here in the same seat, and I said before this game, this team was on the precipice of a lost season. If they lose against the Eagles, especially if it's in poor fashion, then it is officially a lost season. So I'm going to stand on that business, and unfortunately, I'm going to go ahead and say this is now a lost season. What hope, if you don't believe it's a lost season, my question to you would be, what hope are you leaning on? Right, because not only was the offense worse without Dak Prescott, which we knew that it might be.
Yeah,
right?
there's a
it
chance
was
of that.
Of course.
monumentally worse without Dak Prescott. 46 passing yards for Cooper Rush, the lowest for a starting quarterback or an offense for the Cowboys since 2001, I believe. So
Passing yards wise?
wise, lowest passing yards accumulated in 23 years. Okay, your defense came out, played with its hair on fire. DeMarvion Overshown,
Everywhere.
your Longhorn,
Hook 'em.
animal, demon time. Okay,
Yes, yes.
Micah Parsons came back, looked like he didn't miss a snap. Hadn't played since September. Looked like he didn't miss a snap. Demon time, right? The defense set the tone in a way that we have been wanting them to do.
Trayvon Diggs
all
in that
season.
conversation as well.
Trayvon Diggs,
Huge.
right? Still the pappy.
Absolutely.
He is still the pappy.
5
of the
picks in 6
Philadelphia
games,
Eagles.
yeah.
Still the pappy. Your defense gave you a chance. What did you do? You blew it every single time. Okay, DeMarvion Overshown gets you that sack, 13 yards loss, and Cooper Rush then fumbles the snap, gives them the ball in the red zone. Of course they score because they can score in the red zone. Apparently not every team can, but the Philadelphia Eagles can.
What's that like?
What's that like? Maris Leofau, right, on that Micah forced fumble, sack. Maris Leofau recovers the ball. 6 yards. First and goal from the 6-yard line. How many yards did they get? 1. 1 yard in 3 attempts
Not
and
6
had to settle
points
for a field.
or 6 yards.
No.
Got 3.
And it just went from there. In all, 5 turnovers.
Fumble at the goal line.
4 Zeke's fumble in the red zone.
That was big.
That was massive.
That was such a deflation.
That was the longest, best drive of the game. Not just
It was
to that
the
point,
15th
but of the
play
entire
drive
game.
of the year. And that might have been my favorite drive they've had all year.
then-
Yes.
Favorite drive. They were running the ball. They were balanced. They were working to the outside. Rico Dowdle was making cuts. They were all moving and grooving and just rolling down the field. And then on the 15th play of the drive,
Number
you
15.
give it to Ezekiel Elliott, and he coughs it up at the goal line.
You know what that reminded me of? You remember earlier in the season when they had a fantastic drive at home, and it was CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah,
who
same thing.
put the ball on the ground in the red zone.
I think that was like played 9 or 10 of that
it was
drive.
another great drive. 4 lost fumbles, added an interception on Trey Lance. And honestly, I actually forgive Trey Lance for the interception. I'm not in the giving grace mood, but I'll give him grace for that because that was not on him. Go back and look at the film, look at the route. I don't know what Jalen Tolbert's route was supposed to be there.
It was bad.
But it wasn't what it was supposed to be.
He turned into a defender at the back end of the play.
So that interception was on Jalen Tolbert. I would have liked to see more of Trey Lance, especially earlier in the game. But nonetheless, 4 lost fumbles. We talked about Cooper Rush coming into a different situation. This is not 2022. Your offensive line cannot protect you consistently. You don't have receivers that can get separation. But, hey, for 2 quarters, you had a defense that actually was taking the ball away and actually was giving you a shot. But because you started seeing ghosts, you started to panic, and things kind of went from there. So worst outing of Cooper Rush's professional career. We'll get through the protection numbers, but this is just bad. It's lost. Use your vacation time in January. It's a go. It's a go.
I think that drive, that 15-play drive where Zeke fumbles in the end zone, I think that, of course, like we've talked about before, it's like there are these plays. There are these absolute disastrous plays that just make up and tell you the story of what the season is like for the Cowboys. At every turn, no matter how good you start to look momentum-wise, it just results in just a boneheaded play, decision, interception, fumble, whatever it is. Like, it just ends up being that way. And then the defense right after that causes a fumble to put you right back at 1st and goal.
They negated that whole scenario.
Yes. Yes. So
Micah Parsons deleted the Ezekiel Elliott mistake.
Absolutely.
Off, delete. I mean, he got rid of it.
And we've talked about how we interpret that Mike McCarthy feels about fumbling in the red zone, right? The very next series, when they come back out, who is your starting running back?
Zeke. And they gave him a carry.
Yeah.
What the heck are we doing, dude?
That's why I said that doghouse stuff is kind of weird because you don't know when he's going to choose to apply it.
It's really strange. And of course,
he didn't get a carry after that, though, right? He got that next carry of the opening drive. I don't think he had another carry the rest of the game.
But that's such an odd decision to me. And then again, like we talked about, you have 4 plays and you gain 1 yard.
Yeah.
Am I right that was it Rico Dowdle that got the 3rd down carry on that drive too?
Yeah.
And it wasn't going for anything. Look,
Didn't go anywhere.
I don't need to tell you guys that those 2 drives where you need 12 yards total in 2 drives with a chance to get 14 points is bad. But let me tell you what's worse. You want to know what the Cowboys did on their next 6 drives?
Talk to us, something.
3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, fumble, interception. In those 6 drives,
Hold on.
in those 6
NGB.
Not great, Bob.
Not great, Bob.
It's not done yet. How many yards do you think they gained on offense in that time span?
Oh, that's a good question. 25.
5 yards.
23 yards.
Tell me, you're going to make me throw up into this bowl.
The Eagles scored
Thanks for the bowl,
27
Bieber. Might come in
unanswered
handy.
points. So the Eagles had more points than the Cowboys had yards, essentially, the rest of the way. I mean, that says it. That says it. That's the story of this game, right? I mean, you take
Under 50
Mike
yards
Zimmer's
passing.
defense's best half we've seen all year.
I like
yeah.
bestest. It was right.
Yeah.
Most bestest.
Bestest
Most
half.
bestest.
Most bestest
And
half.
turned it into asbestos.
Yeah, hold the follow through on that. I can't follow that.
No, sorry.
No. That's that. There's no better other way to put it. I mean, 5 sacks in the first half. That's the most the Cowboys tied for the most that they've had in a regular season game in the last 25 years. And you just toss it right out the window.
Felt that you had to take advantage of that first half from the defense, knowing that the Cowboys in third quarters are not friends. They are not friends. They are toxic exes who are out for each other's blood.
Outscored in the third quarter alone, 82-22 this year. You were minus 60 in the third quarter. And might I remind you, this is not over the course of an entire season. This is over the course of 9 games.
Yep.
60 divided by 9 is not great, Bob.
Not great. NGB. And Jerry Jones even talked about it after the game, too. Yeah. It's like, we got to figure out what we're drinking at halftime.
Yeah. He said, what are we drinking in the third quarter?
I mean, there's something really drastically wrong about the way that they are making adjustments coming out of halftime, and if they are even making adjustments.
Well, that's the thing too.
Maybe that's the game plan.
And we've talked about this on this show previously. It may not have been this year, but it might have been in the past. But NFL halftimes are so short that fans, I think, have this preconceived notion that you're going to go into halftime and you're going to get this hoorah speech from the coaching staff, and they're going to get you fired up to go out there for the third quarter, and they're going to get you set, and we're going to break down the film, and we're going to look at it all, and everybody's sitting there listening to Mike McCarthy as he outlines the game plan going into the second half.
In 11 minutes.
That is not what happens at all. That is not at halftime at the NFL level. The halftime at the NFL level, you get down there. Most of the time, guys will either go to the restroom, grab a drink, sit down, as the coaching staff comes down from the booth. So you might get an opportunity if your position coach was in the booth, you'll get maybe 3 minutes to talk to him or her, whatever it ends up being in the NFL. You get 3 minutes in your locker room to talk to your position coach or whoever's directly your superior, I guess, in that moment. Then after that, you go back onto the field and get ready for the second half. So there's not a ton of adjusting that can happen. But what you can say is you got to have the right mindset coming out of that break. Mm-hmm. And it certainly hasn't been the case. These guys aren't locked in. They haven't played well. And there's a lot of things that go to effort in the NFL, and we've talked about effort before. I don't think it's a lack of effort. I think it's a lack of mentality, if that makes sense. Because you can still give physical effort, but not completely be there.
Right. Not be
whenever you're locked in
completely.
on the
Right.
game plan or whatever it may be from a playbook standpoint. And when you're getting outscored by 60 points in the third quarter alone, you're not locked in. I don't know what else to tell you.
And as much credit as we're giving the defense, you also had Kalen Carson, who did not have a great game. They were targeting him.
Oh, they picked on him.
Very much. And Kellen Moore
That's
definitely.
because Trayvon Diggs is the Pepe.
Yes. We've addressed this, yes. But
Kellen said, I'm not going to throw to that guy. I'm not going to throw to Jordan Lewis.
I'm going to pick on this guy.
I'm going to circle this rookie that the seatbelt, they may have seatbelt cutters in that locker room for Philadelphia because they got after him a little bit.
No, and let's run as many crossers as we possibly can to get these guys out of position and make them play man, right? Yeah. Which is just not a good recipe for success for us.
For me, the third quarter, and when you look at yesterday's third quarter, it was more or less a microcosm of what we've seen in almost every third quarter this season. Kyle makes a great point. It's not like you can go pull up the whiteboard and pull out the film and
Friday Night Lights.
have a whole team meeting at halftime for adjustments. No, you have to adjust quickly and adapt quickly. Now, that's what the other team is doing. That's why they come out and they're playing different football. If you contain them over the first couple of quarters, they're like, yeah, well, we see how they're playing us. We're going to change this up. Fine. That means that's going to give them the advantage, especially if they're getting the ball first, because the Cowboys keep choosing to receive the ball when they win the coin toss. I don't even start on that. So in this situation, you still have 15 minutes in that quarter, 15 football minutes to make your adaptation to their adaptation. Problem is, yesterday in the third quarter, another example of no adaptation over the course of an entire third quarter. Nope. So when I'm seeing Kyle, Josh, Tommy, you weren't here for this, but Kyle and Josh, what'd I say about Donovan Wilson and Zimmer scheme?
Not good.
It's not good.
What did I say he keeps asking Donovan to do that is actually the weakest point? Play over the top and play coverage.
Go backwards. Go backwards. Coverage.
And how
Trying
did
to sing to
how
make
did that
it feel
work out
better.
yesterday?
Not very
enough.
well,
Right.
Bob.
That's because Sirianni and Kellen Moore went into the half, and Kellen Moore knows Donovan Wilson very well for obvious reasons. And he said, you know what? I noticed that they keep dropping Donovan Wilson back in coverage. Let's attack that with Dallas Goedert. Okay? Here we go. They're attacking Donovan Wilson. Hey, Zimmer, by the way, they're drawing a circle around Donovan now. Maybe making a... No? Okay. No? Clock tick, 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 tick. Now in the fourth quarter and the game is blown wide open already. It's too late. So for me, it's not making adjustments in real time. It's, guys, yeah, they're giving the effort, but they're just not in position to make the plays in the third quarter and the fourth quarter that they were in the first quarter. We know that DeMarvion was a little bit hampered because turns out he suffered the knee injury in the first half, and then he kind of came back in and he kind of played through it. But he was battling that. But no one else, when DeMarvion got hampered, no one else other than Michael was on demon time at that point.
Nope.
Right? So where were the demons in the second half? But again, I'm not going to hang this loss. I'm really not. I'm not going to hang this loss on the defense. I'm going to hang it on the offense.
At some point, you're going to lose your edge defensively when you're not playing complementary football.
Your offense starts to make mistakes. You start to get frustrated.
They put you in a tough situation.
What's the point?
Well, they don't have time to breathe.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't have time to breathe. Three and outs and 3 turnovers back to back to back to back to back to back drives. You don't have time to catch your breath.
No.
So
you're sitting there on the sideline saying, "Can you please just get one first down?
Just yeah, exactly.
Can you please do something?"
I'm tired. I'm tired.
As deflating as it is for an offense to not come away with 6 points when you've got the ball at the 6-yard line, how deflating is it for a defense to get 2 straight turnovers back to back to get you in that spot, just for your offense to run 4 plays?
Both times that they didn't end up in points in the inside the 10-yard line, or I guess they ended up with just the 3 on the after the Micah strip sack and the Maris Leofow recovery. I watched as the stadium shot showed the offensive line going back to the sideline. Both times they showed the offensive line. And I couldn't help but notice 2 different faces at that time. One of them was Zach Martin, and then the other one was Terrence Steele. Those were the 2 guys that I kind of looked at both times when we were in the stadium as they were walking back. When we come back, I want to talk about the offensive line because it was kerfuffled, but there was also a bright spot on the left side I want to talk about a little bit more as well. But that's part of where I think this offensive struggle has started and continued throughout the 2024 season. Offensive line talk, more about the offensive side of the ball when we come back with more Talkin Cowboys right after this. If you're looking for fresh American roasted coffee that gives back, you need to head to your local grocery store and pick up a bag of Black Rifle coffee. That's right, America's coffee is now available in the coffee aisle of a grocery store near you. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-founded with a mission to give back to those brave men and women who have served our nation. Every bag, box, or can you purchase helps support that mission. Head to your local grocery store and roast yourself some Black Rifle coffee today.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, this portion of the show is brought to you by Quaker Oats, the official oatmeal sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Quaker Oats, trusted since 1877.
Long time.
I need you, Tommy, on your first show, I need you to point to your right.
Hold on.
Your right. Right there.
Right there.
Yep. Is your finger in the screen, though? Make sure you're... Yeah, there you go. Nope, there you go. Be a better weatherman. Come on. You got to
right
there. Right there is
we
the
go.
Quaker code.
It's the QR code.
That is the Quaker code. You can buy your oats from the internet, and Beamer
It's right
will
there right now.
Officially, there you go. Will officially drone deliver them to you by Chris Beam. They
Beamer
will
on the
drone
remote.
deliver your oats from the internet straight down to your porch. It's not true. Don't sue us. That's not happening. So
You ever buy your oats from the internet, Tommy?
only when he
All the
watches
time.
Talking Cowboys.
All the time.
All the
and
time.
by drone delivery, too.
Sweet.
Quaker Oats.
Quaker Oats. Every time.
This guy gets it.
Trusted since 1877.
1877.
This guy gets it.
Feels like that's the last time the Cowboys won a game. Sorry. It's true.
I couldn't even make myself laugh because it hurts.
It does. It hurts.
It do.
4 straight losses. Back with Tommy Yarrish, Josh Rodriguez, Patrik No. C. Walker, Chris Beam in the back. I want to talk about the offensive side of the ball. Tommy, you did a phenomenal job of outlining the despair on that side of the football in the second half. Yeah, one way to put it. It's specifically. We've talked a lot about the offensive line on this show and how it has not been consistent enough for you to build anything around it. And a lot of times, at least going into the year, we thought it was going to be the rookies and the learning curve around Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe. Instead, you're starting to see the regression and a steep regression of Zach Martin. And you're starting to see a bad season, or have seen a bad season, from Terrence Steele on the right tackle spot. When you look at this offensive line, where does it start for you in terms of the downturn up front?
I really think it is with Terrence Steele on the outside. I think that's where you've seen so much of the pressure come. And then when you look at the left side, when Tyler Guyton's played, Dallas has tried to help him over there, whether it be a tight end or they line up a running back on that side to help in pass protection. Guys, it just hasn't worked. It just hasn't worked. So, I mean, Awesome Richards yesterday, I thought played fairly well for what you would expect from him, considering Guyton was, kind of a guy you didn't know about coming into this game and, questionable throughout the week and limited throughout the week in practice. But, what did it for me was Terrence Steele seemingly, and you guys tell me if I saw this play wrong, it looked like he kicked the ball away from Hunter Lipke and then just watched it on the ground instead of just falling on top of it.
He was trying to scoop and score, baby.
Yeah, he was trying to make something happen.
That was third down, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean,
he was trying to make up for his mistake.
with all due respect to Terrence, I don't know how many yards he's going to get if he picks that up and rumbles with it. Maybe he just houses it. That would be super cool.
The man of steel.
Yeah, I mean, he's a hard guy to bring down over the ball, I'll tell you that. But I think that's where it starts with this offensive line. When you knew there was going to be growing pains with rookies, but did you think it would be to this magnitude?
No.
And that kind of goes back to another motif that has followed us throughout the season, in that, like, hero ball, playing hero ball, doing more, doing too much, If Terrence Steele thinks in that moment, like, I'm going to pick up the ball and we're going to get this first down.
He's going to rattle off 60 yards.
Yeah, of course. Like, if that's his thought process, that is the hero ball. That is the hero mentality. That is doing more than what your job entails. Your job entails in that moment to dive on that freaking ball and secure it. Do not give it back to the Philadelphia Eagles when you are struggling to move the ball in the first place. To me, that was just another example of how being a hero, doing too much, has kind of bit you in the butt. And you've seen that more so on defense this year, but in that moment, it felt just like that. It's a microcosm of the whole season and the demons sort of coming back over again.
Here comes my F word again. Fundamentals.
Oh,
fundamentals.
You can't say that on the airwaves.
Yeah, fundamentals. Listen, Terrence Steele is 6'6", 310 pounds, give or take. Okay, after you missed your block, which led to the sack and forced fumble, like Kyle, you said maybe he was trying to make up for it. The way you make up for it is you put that 6'6", 310-pound frame on top of that small little oblong object. That's what you do. You go full bomb shelter over that ball to give yourselves a chance. At worst, it becomes a punt, and you turn the field position around. But you cannot give the Eagles that ball.
He needs to pop that ball. He literally needs to make the ball explode by falling on top of it.
Yes.
That's what needs to happen. There should be no ball by the time
you should have grenade training
and
just
fundamentals.
Flatten yourself on top of it.
You are taught at every level of the game to fall on a loose ball.
Yep.
every position. Doesn't matter if you're the wide receiver or not. Now, it's a little bit more forgivable if you don't and you're the wide receiver.
If you're Cavante or something.
Right, and you have some green in front of you, it's like, okay, you know what the fundamental was, but I get it. I can't even say I get this.
Yeah.
You're a right tackle. Just fall on the ball. You have zero chance. Let's say you scoop that ball. Where are you going? Like Tommy said,
2 yards,
where are you
maybe?
going, big boy? Where are you going, big boy? Right. This was not going to be the legacy moment. Okay? So, to answer your question, my opinion, it starts on the right side. It's not just Terrence, but it's Zach as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? And then it filters left from there because Terrence is struggling and Zach is having arguably the worst season of his, Hall of Fame career.
He gave up another sack and another 2 pressures yesterday.
Correct. Now it makes things more difficult for a rookie like Cooper Beebe, right, who's transitioning. And one of the things that was supposed to help Cooper Beebe was being sandwiched between Zach Martin and Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith had a pretty good day yesterday. But when that right side is struggling, now you're asking a whole lot from Cooper Beebe in his first year as center and his first year as center at the NFL
Also allowed
level.
a sack yesterday.
Yeah, I think everybody except one allowed a sack yesterday.
That would be out of the starters, yes.
Yeah, out of the starters, correct.
Yep,
so
Tyler Smith was the only one who did not.
And then it was a combination. It went from there because Cooper
Clean
Rush,
sheet from Tyler Smith.
Cooper Rush wasn't throwing the ball well, even when he wasn't pressured.
No.
And then when he was pressured, it just made things spiral that much more out of control. So, worst passing outing since, like I said, 2001. Oh, guess who the quarterback was in that game? It was Quincy
Carter, yeah.
He did not. Cooper Rush did not complete a pass further than 10 yards.
10
down
yards.
the field.
Yeah, his spray chart from NFL Next Gen looks like a Pee Wee football spray chart. And that's not all on Cooper Rush.
It's not.
Not
but
even
it also
he
is.
But it does
It's
look
not,
like that.
but it is.
It is, no doubt.
It also is.
And I think there's an element to this that, one, if you're a Dak Prescott hater, this is a good indication of why you shouldn't be a Dak Prescott hater.
Yep.
Not only is Cooper Rush a backup quarterback, but it went so far down below. We thought it was a low floor or a high floor, low ceiling with Cooper Rush. We just saw how low the floor can go. It went pretty darn low. And it is. It's the lowest that he's ever played in the NFL. That's plain and simple. It could get better from here. We'll see. But right there is a good indication of how much you missed Dak Prescott. When I was sitting in the press box and I had my pin out and I was taking my notes, during that Terrence Steele play where the strip sack happens, Rush puts the ball on the ground, it fumbles away, he's trying to go get it, and he can't come up with it, and the Eagles recover. I wrote 2 words on my flip card. Would you like to guess which the 2 words were?
On air, no.
Yeah. Okay. No, they're not. No, they're not curse words. So
Oh,
you're
okay,
good.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're good.
okay.
Not
Well, then I
curse
got
words.
nothing. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm out.
Would you like to take a guess?
No, I couldn't even try.
It was rock bottom, is what I had. That's what I wrote it over the top of the Cowboys.
With a people's
Rock
elbow
bottom.
on top.
That's what it felt like. It felt like this was rock bottom. The Boo Birds were there. Everybody's frustrated. The offense hasn't been good. Even when Dak was in the fold, he was having to cover up so much that they could not figure things out. Period.
Yeah.
It felt like that moment. When we get done with the 2024 season and we look back years from now and we circle this year as a year that was a lost season for the Cowboys, that's the moment that's going to stick out to me.
Oof.
That one specifically. Really? I don't know why,
Well,
but it's because it felt that way.
Take your
I
pick,
felt
really.
it was. There's plenty of moments
your
like that.
pick.
That was the one that's going to stick out to me as the rock bottom moment of 2024.
I think the Zeke fumble too is one.
That
of
was
those.
bad, too.
That one's really bad, and a lot of it just feels like a team that is playing not to lose. They're desperately trying not to make the mistakes, which is also making those mistakes, and it doesn't feel like a confident team.
Yeah.
Here's when you know nothing is destined to go in your favor. You're gasping for any type of positivity, right? So Trey Lance comes in, and this could have been a better ball to Jake, but nonetheless, the ball gets there. Jake with a sensational one-handed grab, sensational fumble.
Yep.
4th lost fumble. At that point, it's okay. Okay, use your vacation time.
Do you know what? You know what happened after that fumble too? Trey Lance, as a good quarterback does, makes the play to push the defender out of bounds.
Oh,
He hit him
Who
pretty
does
good,
he
too.
push the defender into?
Dak
Prescott. I mean,
didn't even see that.
Yes.
That play alone is the encapsulation
Wait a
of
second. I'm
this
gonna
game.
go find
I
it.
mean, you can look at, and Dak has to hop away. He could have gotten hurt again.
Yeah.
That I think encapsulates this game.
If there's like
and
just
this
one
season.
photo
If there
of
was
that, that is the
1 6-second video.
that is the
just
cover of
sum
Dallas
up
Cowboys
the first
2024
9
season.
games this
Maybe
season.
I should have
That's the
written
play.
that down on that play specifically.
Even when Dak Prescott's not in the game, he was still in danger.
Still
that
taking
is
it.
mind-boggling.
He was still under pressure.
He's still
Still under pressure. Still getting pressure.
That is mind-boggling.
Oh, my
I mean,
God.
how does that happen?
Oh man.
How does that
There's a
happen?
hit on his stat sheet for yesterday.
QB
No
hit.
attempts,
QB hit.
one pressure, one hit.
Pressure allowed by the QB3. QB3
Yeah,
allowed
he
the
let it
pressure.
go.
Oh my God! And we're
man.
not.
You gotta laugh. You have
See,
to laugh.
in that
That's
play,
what
I
I'm
was
saying.
I was impressed because I was like, Trey Lance laid a hit on that guy. I was like, that was kind of a good
Into Dak
solid
Prescott.
tackle.
Into Dak Prescott.
I didn't realize that Dak was on the receiving end of it.
We are not
That's
even
awful.
laughing because it's funny. We're laughing to because how does the adage go? Sometimes you gotta laugh to keep from crying.
Yes.
This is so bad that you're either going to just laugh at it because it's like it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous that you have to laugh, or you just go numb, or a combination of the two. Now it's just like, okay, what happens when the Texans come? What's the next thing? What's the next
stages of grief? And I think we're kind of past that into like now it's laughter. Now it's just a morbid laughter that we have in regards to this team and this season so far.
Rough.
You hate to see it, man. You really do.
This is rough. Just when you think, and that's why I say hold that rock bottom drink, because it seems like every time you think you've hit rock bottom with this team,
Something else happens. Even with that, though, like you said it, going into this game, there was still a sliver of hope. Even if it was a sliver,
I'm talking
it wasn't
skinny,
very much.
but it was.
I don't see that anymore. I don't think there's even a sliver. I think the season, you're looking at the future now. Whenever it comes to 2024, sure, a miracle in the Metroplex can happen, and you can win out. Sure, absolutely, you could totally have a miracle because that's what it would take, a pure act of divine intervention to make something happen to the point where you win and get to 11-6. Sure. But that's not happening.
I think God is busy doing other things.
Yeah, he's plenty busy elsewhere.
He's a bit tied up.
I will say this, and I'll pose this kind of as a question too. If you want, I try to be a positive person.
Me too.
If you want to look
That
at
hasn't
something,
happened this year.
if you want to look at something that could be positive for you, if the offensive line is going to play the way that they've been playing, where they give up pressure, do you make Trey Lance the starting quarterback?
Yes.
Is that the potential answer? Because here's the thing.
Yes.
Thank you. At worst, you get him valuable reps, and you see what you've got there. You traded a 4th-round pick for him. I think you just see what you've got there, and that's not a slight at Cooper Rush.
No.
I mean, Cooper Rush.
But you know what you have with Cooper
you know
Rush.
what you have with Cooper Rush, and now you've seen the worst from Cooper Rush, and. You know, are you in save the season mode anymore to where you want Cooper Rush to win you games? Or are you in, hey, let's see if Trey Lance can get this thing going?
Are you in? R-U-N. He needs to run the freaking ball.
Right.
Wow. Bang.
I'm in.
God.
And you can't. We saw it like at least early in the game whenever they just put him in for a run package. He ran the read option and took 2 snaps and then was out of the game. Like that was kind of what we anticipated. Like you can't just do that. He's got to be able to throw the football too.
Yeah.
And so we mentioned this last week, but you're right. If the offensive line is Swiss cheese up front and it's just going to let these defenders through, and
Cooper Rush isn't going to succeed.
it's not going to happen.
No.
So why not give a guy with at least a little bit of mobility a chance back there? And like you said, see what you got.
Dual threat.
A lot of bit of mobility.
Dual threat. That's the more opportunities you give yourself on the ground or in the air, take a shot, man. You have to.
Listen,
I mean, you look at. I mean to cut you off.
You're good, Tom.
Just one more thing on Trey. You look at some of the plays yesterday where he gets flushed out. One of those plays, he just turns the corner, beats everybody for 11 yards.
Yeah.
And even when he
Joe.
couldn't, he still gets flushed out. He's got 3 guys in the backfield chasing him, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage. If Cooper Rush is in that situation, you take a 6-7 yard sack both times.
It's a dead man.
And he turns it into 10 net yards in 2 plays and a first down.
And this is why going into this game, I wanted them to unleash the packages for Trey Lance. But for Trey Lance to not take his first snap until just under 3 minutes in the third quarter, now you're down 28-6, and then you put him in for 2 plays. One of those was a designed run, and then you pull him and you put Cooper Rush back in the game for that third quarter. And then it wasn't until the fourth quarter where you look at Trey and say, you know what, now you can go throw the ball. No. And then even when you look at when Trey was throwing the ball, we know that Trey Lance needs more development with his arm. We know this, okay? But it's evaluation time, and he's not going to get this opportunity again for the Cowboys as far as in-game reps. And like he said, like Tommy said, and like we've been saying leading into this game, he gives you the escapability and behind an offensive line that just simply cannot protect you. So no matter how you look at it, we know what Cooper Rush is. If you're Mike McCarthy and you're thinking there's a snowball's chance in hell that maybe you can save the season, okay, maybe the best option is Trey Lance. Maybe. But even if it's not, you need to evaluate this young man. And if nothing else, give the fans something to have some fun with in a season that's likely dead at this point.
Yeah. And if you read DallasCowboys.com, you read this last week in Science Lab when Patrick discussed this about using both quarterbacks to your advantage. Whenever I saw Trey Lance come in, I was like, damn, Patrick had a point. Patrick had a point. It's at this point, it's too little, too late. But I didn't expect the coaching staff to put Trey Lance in. But you needed the spark in that moment, and I think he, for all intents and purposes, he gave you something.
Cooper Rush was
that you weren't
having
seeing from
a
Cooper
Quincy
Rush.
Carter game.
Yeah.
Trey Lance, at least the packages should have started middle of the second quarter, give or take. And so at the beginning of the third quarter, when you saw it was starting to get away from you, just go ahead and pull the reins off.
Imagine if you started that in the
That's what
first
I'm
quarter.
saying. Just go ahead and pull the reins off.
You know when it should have started? First and goal from the 6.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Tell him,
As
Tommy.
soon as they got the ball there, I said to myself, and I maybe said this to you in the press box, this is prime Trey Lance opportunity. This is a prime Trey Lance spot. If you run a speed option,
it's
with him and Rico Dowdle,
done deal.
You're at least getting a yard or 2.
Done deal.
At the very, like if that
2
play,
would be double what we actually got.
Exactly. Barring a disaster, which the Cowboys had several disasters, you at least get a couple of positive yards out of that play, and you just see what you've got. You see what you've got.
Unleash
and
Trey.
you get away from the interior defensive line because Jalen Carter in this game,
Yeah, he was nuts.
absolute monster. Absolute monster.
Bulldog, we get it.
Yeah,
I didn't say a word.
Well, they're basically
don't have
playing
to
the
say it.
Georgia defense.
True story. I gave
What
you your
do they
hookup
have?
earlier,
Like
so.
4 or 5
5,
Georgia
yeah.
defenders over there?
Yeah.
4 starters.
But if the way that he's playing, the way that Brandon Graham was coming off the edge too, you get away from all that, you get Trey to the outside, and maybe you've got a shot there. That's when I saw. That's when I said to myself for the first time, okay, this is where Trey Lance might be able to give you something.
But no.
I understand now. I
Help yourself.
I do understand Mike McCarthy giving the ball to Rico Dowdle and Ezekiel Elliott in those situations because they were running the ball so well in that first half. The offensive line was getting good push in the run game. I mean, we can give them that.
But why not give yourself the added option?
That's my point. That's my point.
Tough. All right, we got to take our second break. When we come back, we flip our attention to the defensive side of the ball. Had some guys playing early, had some guys not so much playing late. We'll talk about each of those, good, the bad, the ugly of the Cowboys defense in the 34-6 loss to Philadelphia. Right after this, more Talking Cowboys.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Hey y'all, Matt Pittman of Meat Church here. With football season kicking off, I'm already gearing up to bring the smoker back to AT&T Stadium for some epic tailgates. But with that Texas heat, it's crucial to keep my beer hand cramping cold. That's where Yeti's insulated Colster can cooler comes in clutch. This year, you can even get them with the iconic star engraved on the side. Licensed Yeti Cowboys gear is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concessions, and on Yeti.com. Check it out today. Yeti, official cooler and drinkware of the Dallas Cowboys.
And we're going to overtime.
Erica, how much have I spent on concessions?
For questions about their money, Dallas Cowboys fans can turn to Erica, the virtual financial assistant in the Bank of America mobile banking app. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/Erica by your side. Bank of America, official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Erica responses may vary. Digital tools featured require downloading the mobile banking app and may only be available on select mobile devices. Erica is a mobile feature only available in the English language. Your chat may be recorded and monitored for quality assurance. Message and data rates and additional terms may apply. Bank of America, N.A., member FDIC.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Back here on Talking Cowboys, this segment of the show is brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. Welcome in on this Monday. Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, Tommy Yarrish, Chris Beam in the back. I'm Kyle Youmans, breaking down the 34-6 Cowboys loss to Philadelphia. Dallas now 3-6. Best case scenario is the win-out scenario, and you've got 11 wins on the season. I mean, I don't even know why.
Sorry. No, I don't mean to dismiss you at all, man.
No, you should.
Who are the next two games?
What was that?
Who are the next two games?
You've got the Houston Texans, who lost last night, but are still really, really good and probably hungry. And then,
so they're mad.
Yeah, they're going to be upset.
And have you won at home yet?
No, you haven't.
Okay, and then who after that?
Actually, you're the first team in history to trail by 20 points or more at home in the last 5 games.
Sick. Okay, who you got after this?
Then you've got this Washington team.
Okay, all right.
That's 7-3.
But they just lost yesterday too.
So they're also mad. Okay, all right.
I guess so.
Yeah. Okay.
Extra large, man.
Well, that's going to do it for us here on Talking Cowboys. No.
Playoffs.
I want to talk about the defense because the defense showed things, at least in that first half, that we haven't seen all year. They get worn down. They get tired, like we talked about with Tommy earlier. When you go 3-and-out, pick, interception, fumble, whatever it ends up being, the 7 or 8 drives straight of just not good offense, it is going to wear down a defense. Even the best in the business can't have that sort of sustained success over and over and over again. What was the best thing you saw and the worst thing you saw from the Cowboys defense in the loss on Sunday? Pat, I'll start with you.
Best thing I saw was DeMarvion Overshown taking another step toward being arguably the best Cowboys defender not named Micah Parsons in 2025 and beyond. I can't state enough how impressed I am with this young man, especially when you look at all the variables surrounding his success, right? He was essentially redshirted by a torn ACL his first season.
Another scary injury timeout yesterday, too.
Right. In training camp, he misses a good chunk of training camp with the hip pointer. Okay, so he misses those reps, but he comes out week 1 against the Cleveland Browns, and he plays some great freaking football. Had a couple hiccups here and there, but then overall his trajectory is just exponentially taking leaps forward to the point where yesterday that was all pro level football from DeMarvion Overshown. All pro level football to the point where Micah Parsons himself said he'd reconsider his role going forward so that he could stay on the field with DeMarvion Overshown. Like, when you're playing so well that you have a generational talent looking at the defensive coordinator and saying, you know what, put us on the field at the same time from now on. Yep. That's big stuff. So for me, it's DeMarvion Overshown and Micah giving you some kind of life that you can maybe have some fun with going forward. So that's the best thing. The worst thing for me is just the struggles of Kalen Carson. Tall ask. He's only 2 games back.
Literally.
Yeah, only 2. Yeah, A.J. Brown, tall ask. Only 2 games back from his shoulder injury, having missed several games. And it's just, that's a lot to ask from the young man. But at the same time, he's struggling with things like missed tackles. His coverage is just not what I've seen that it can be on film. And that allowed Jalen Hurts and Kellen Moore to target him and go away from Jordan Lewis, go away from Trayvon Diggs. So, Kalen Carson, he can be better. Hopefully he'll begin to get better as the season goes on. He starts to get those reps. But, that's the worst. But DeMarvion Overshown, he was a lighthouse for me yesterday.
The best that I saw from the defense as far as, first and second half defense, obviously we're talking about here, right?
Yeah.
When you consider, like you said, DeMarvin Overshown doing the most, he was all over the field. He made just about every single defensive play in the first quarter and the second quarter. To me, his passion is shining through. I think the fact that he is just confident, because you're not seeing a lot of that on this team. You're not seeing a lot of players, like, once they make a tackle, get up and actually be passionate and do something that's like, I made this play. For me, DeMarvin Overshown is going to be the heart of your defense going forward, and it's something to build on. And not only that, but you have Trayvon Diggs, who was playing lights out in the first half. Mm-hmm. Granted, they were targeting Kalen Carson all day. When you do get to target Trayvon Diggs, what do you get? Interceptions, man. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love that. I love seeing that. I love the pressure that you were able to get on Jalen Hurts in the first half yesterday, because he was uncomfortable. He was making poor decisions. Yeah. His throws were arid. And once the Philadelphia Eagles figured out, like, oh, the Cowboys offense isn't going to do anything. Let's just sit back. Let's chill. Let's take plays off, basically, if we need to, live to see another down, because we will score. Yeah. We will end up scoring. But I think that would be my worst part there, is the fact that the defense, it's hard to say gave up, but they let off the gas in the second half because the offense wasn't doing anything.
Because they were gassed.
They were gassed, of course. So that would be sort of a microcosm of both. It's kind of good and bad.
Sure.
I think the positive for me, and I was telling Nick Harris this on the drive back yesterday, nobody talked about how the Cowboys held Saquon Barkley to 66 yards on the ground. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's one of the league's best running backs, and a guy who easily could have taken this game over. Easily could have taken this game over if he does Saquon Barkley things, if he jumps over a guy backwards, whatever it may be. So I think that's a positive development for this run defense, which has, quite frankly, put together back-to-back pretty good weeks, defending two very good running backs in Bijan Robinson and Saquon Barkley. The flip side of that is that this team is still struggling to defend quarterbacks that can run. Mm-hmm. Jalen Hurts, 56 yards on 7 carries for 2 touchdowns. I know one of those was the tush push, but when your defense is able to get pressure like that, and Jalen Hurts has to get out of the pocket, and he just has nothing in front of him,
nothing,
it can't happen. And when it happens again and again, and there isn't an adjustment made to, put a guy like DeMarvin Overshown on him, whether it be as a spy or just have him in the area, whatever it may be, if it keeps happening again and again and you don't adjust to it, then a guy like Jalen Hurts and what he's capable of doing is going to take advantage of that all day long. And I'll tell you this, I don't know if there would be a better candidate for a spy, and we've seen it this year too, than DeMarvin Overshown, considering how fast he closes. Mm-hmm. You saw it yesterday with how fast he gets to the quarterback.
Ask Deshaun Watson.
Well, that's the thing, is that the sack yesterday made me think back to the Deshaun Watson sack and the way that he closed on Watson. Yesterday was more impressive to me because there was a visible second gear that Demo hit. Demo was already in the backfield, and then he said, you know what? Let me accelerate again.
A little more, yeah.
And he just wham! Like,
even
Jalen Hurts was like, "What the?"
Hurts was like, "Holy hell!"
Absolutely, that was one of the best defensive plays of the year, and it's all kind of going to get forgotten about in the long run because of what you're talking about. And I think, yeah, Demo's he's a dude, which is why, like, when he came out yesterday at the locker room and he was saying, "Hey, I'm good." He talked to Nicole Hutchison afterwards, said, "I'm good." He said in the locker room, specifically to the media, "I'll be back next week."
Yeah,
that's all phenomenal news because he's a great dude. He's starting to turn into a leader. People are looking at him on the defensive side of the football, and the fact that he plays the way that he does too, all of these things add up significantly to a guy who could get into Pro Bowl and All-Pro territory. Maybe not this year, but down the line as a part of the Cowboys defense, and I love it.
As far as building blocks,
he's a guy.
That is your guy. That is the heart and soul of your defense.
And you know what? That's got to make Cowboys fans feel fantastic because it's not been since the days of peak Sean Lee that you've been able to point at the linebacker core in Dallas and say, we've got a dude.
That dude.
Now you can look at DeMarvin Overshown and say, oh, we got ourselves a dude.
And the great thing about DeMarvin Overshown, I think he is the start of this kind of new era that we're seeing with these hybrid linebackers. Because when you think of linebackers in days past, I think Eric Kendricks is a perfect example of what you think about in a linebacker, a guy who's going to be everywhere and make all the tackles for you at the second level. DeMarvion Overshown is this kind of new breed of linebacker that can kick it into that extra gear. They've got a little bit more speed, a little bit more length to him. He has a history playing safety back in his high school days. Maybe he played a little bit of safety at Texas too. But that speed is such a difference maker. And I think you are seeing some of that too in the college ranks. Is a good example of that, although he's hurt, unfortunately, for the rest of the year, is Harold Perkins, just because he has that extra gear to him where he can get after the quarterback.
I think Anthony Hill, who wears number 0 for Texas right now,
example of that
is wearing the same uniform Devo wore at Texas. Similar deal.
You're looking at a stockier version of DeMarvion Overshown.
Yeah, he's a little smaller or shorter. Yeah,
but he still does a lot of the same things.
He does.
So DeMarvion Overshown is a great example of this kind of, I'll say new era, although we've seen other guys like that. I think Isaiah Simmons is a good NFL example. It hasn't panned out, I don't think, like some people thought it has, and maybe it will.
I think Micah was that initially until they kind of full-time threw him on the defensive
because he was such a good pass rusher.
He was so good as a pass rusher.
Yeah.
He could have been that previously, but now you have both. Which I'm good with.
And
you have an elite pass rusher, and you have that hybrid linebacker.
And when you have them both on the field at the same time, a lot of good things are going to happen.
Gimme, dude.
Yeah, a lot of good things are going to happen.
That's one of the high points, one of the few high points of the game is that sack from Overshown, and you could almost see the terror in Jalen Hurts' eyes as he's running full speed in the opposite direction, praying that he can get an opportunity to turn the corner, but there's no corner to be turned, sir. DeMarvion Overshown is at your front door.
There's not a whole lot of times where there's an audible response. It's only a couple times a game from the press box. Usually it's silent in there. Audible response, especially especially not Josh. Throughout the game, you're silent, but then that demo play happened, and like the whole press box was like, "Whoa!" Like it was the whole. You could hear it. It was almost in simultaneous unison.
The temperature in the room changed.
Chorus. Yeah. Whoa! Like, it was just phew.
Holy crap!
What was? Did you guys give you the worst thing that you saw on defense?
Yeah, I did. It was Kalen Carson struggles.
Carson,
and then mine was. Oh gosh, now I'm blanking.
Inability to stop the
thank you. Yeah, quarterback run.
Yeah, that's
thank
what it
you.
Was. And you brought up the point, Saquon Barkley, second lowest total on the ground this year. The only other team that held him for fewer yards, oddly enough, was the Cleveland Browns.
At least we got him, right?
Yeah, he did.
Cowboys had a chance to win this game.
Yeah.
It was 7-3 for the longest, 14-6 at the half. Your defense did exactly what it needed to do. Offense did absolutely nothing.
That could have been a 17-7 or 17-14 game at halftime.
Yeah. Yep.
Ouch.
One team went and grabbed it. The other team had a chance to grab it and did not do so.
We tried to pick it up and
tried to pick it up and turn
with a 300-pound dude.
Instead.
Rock bottom, baby. All right, that does it for us here on Talking Cowboys. We will be back tomorrow. Tommy, great job on your debut, Doc.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, appreciate you
guys. No surprise. You can read Tommy's work on DallasCowboys.com. He'll pop in sporadically when Isaiah is not available. You could hear him on the Fan Tuesdays at 9:20. Tuesdays at 9:20 on the Fan, 105.3 The Fan, with Sean and RJ in the morning. So he's doing his radio hit. Listen to us, and you can tune in to Tommy on Tuesdays as well. It'll be a whole lot of fun. We'll see you around as well.
Absolutely.
For Chris Beam, for Tommy Yarrish, for Josh Rodriguez,
there we
and
go.
Patrik Walker, I'm Kyle Youmans saying so long from Talking Cowboys. We'll see you tomorrow for a Talking Tuesday.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!